Welcome to Storytime Audio. In today's episode, we delve into a captivating story of love, heartbreak, and self-discovery. Meet Hana, a woman whose life takes an unexpected turn as she navigates the challenges of a demanding marriage, the temptation of an old friend, and the quest for true happiness. Join us as we explore her journey from loneliness and regret to love and fulfillment. This is a tale of resilience, growth, and the enduring power of the human spirit. Sit back, relax, and let us take you on Hana's incredible journey. Journey of rediscovery. Hana's path to love and fulfillment. Hana and Alex had been married for 3 years. The early days of their marriage were filled with love, laughter, and shared dreams. But as time passed, the reality of Alex's demanding career as a surgeon began to take its toll on their relationship. Alex was always busy, often working late into the night or even through weekends, leaving Hana to navigate life alone in their spacious but increasingly lonely home. Hana had imagined a different life when she married Alex. She pictured them spending evenings together, going on weekend getaways, and enjoying each other's company. Instead, she found herself spending most nights alone, her only companions being the silent walls of their house and the occasional sound of the television. She missed the days when Alex would come home and they would talk about their day, laugh over dinner, and cuddle on the couch. Those moments had become rare, replaced by a cold distance that seemed to grow with each passing day. Alex's job as a surgeon was undoubtedly demanding. He often worked 12 to 16-hour shifts, and emergencies could call him in at any time. Hana understood the importance of his work and admired his dedication to saving lives, but she couldn't help feeling neglected. The emotional connection she craved was fading, replaced by a growing sense of isolation. She tried to talk to Alex about her feelings, but their conversations were brief and superficial, often interrupted by his beeping pager or urgent phone calls from the hospital. One evening, after another lonely dinner, Hana decided to confront Alex. She had spent the day preparing a home-cooked meal, hoping they could enjoy some quality time together. As usual, Alex arrived home late, looking exhausted. Hana greeted him with a forced smile, trying to mask her disappointment. "Hi, honey. How was your day?" she asked, her voice tinged with hope. Alex sighed and rubbed his temples. "Long and tiring, as always. The hospital was packed, and I had back-to-back surgeries." Hana nodded, trying to empathize. "I made your favorite dinner. I thought we could eat together and maybe talk for a bit." Alex glanced at the table, where a beautifully set dinner awaited. He gave her a tired smile. "Thanks, Hana. That sounds nice, but I'm really exhausted. Can we do this another time?" Hana's heart sank. She had anticipated this response but hoped for a different outcome. "Alex, we never spend time together anymore. I feel like we're drifting apart. Can't we just try to connect, even for a little while?" Alex looked at her, his eyes filled with exhaustion and frustration. "Hana, you know how demanding my job is. I'm doing my best to provide for us. Can't you understand that?" "I do understand, Alex, but I'm lonely. I need more from this marriage than just financial security. I need you," Hana replied, her voice breaking. Alex sighed again, this time with irritation. "Hana, I'm too tired for this. Can we please not do this right now?" Hana watched as he walked away, her heart heavy with unspoken words. She felt like she was losing him, bit by bit, and didn't know how to bridge the growing gap between them. The loneliness was becoming unbearable, and she feared that if things didn't change, their marriage might be in serious trouble. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Hana's loneliness deepened. She tried to keep herself busy, taking up new hobbies and reconnecting with old friends, but nothing seemed to fill the void left by Alex's absence. She missed the intimacy, the shared moments, and the feeling of being truly seen and loved by her husband. One evening, while scrolling through her Facebook feed, Hana received a friend request from Brian, an old college friend. Brian had been a year ahead of her in school and was considered one of the most attractive guys on campus. They had shared a few classes and had always gotten along well, but they had lost touch after graduation. Curious and eager for a distraction, Hana accepted the friend request. Brian's message came almost immediately. "Hey, Hana, long time no see. How have you been?" Hana smiled, feeling a glimmer of excitement. "Hi, Brian. It's been ages. I'm doing okay. How about you?" They began chatting casually, catching up on each other's lives. Brian had moved to the same city a few years ago and was now working as a marketing executive. Their conversations were light and friendly at first, but as days went by, they grew deeper and more personal. Hana found herself looking forward to their chats, enjoying the attention and validation she received from Brian. It wasn't long before their online conversations turned into late-night phone calls. Brian was charming, attentive, and genuinely interested in her life. He listened to her, made her laugh, and provided the emotional support she desperately needed. For the first time in a long time, Hana felt seen and appreciated. One evening, while Alex was working another late shift, Brian suggested they meet up for coffee. Hana hesitated at first, knowing it might be crossing a line, but the loneliness and longing for connection were too strong to resist. She agreed, and they arranged to meet at a cozy cafe downtown. When Hana arrived at the cafe, she felt a mix of nervousness and excitement. Brian was already there, waiting for her with a warm smile. They hugged, and Hana couldn't help but feel a sense of comfort and familiarity. "It's so good to see you, Hana," Brian said, his eyes sparkling with genuine affection. "You too, Brian. It's been too long," Hana replied, smiling back. They spent the evening talking, laughing, and reminiscing about old times. Brian's presence was a soothing balm to Hana's wounded heart, and she found herself drawn to him in a way she hadn't felt in years. As they said their goodbyes, Brian hugged her tightly and whispered, "I'm always here for you, Hana. Don't ever forget that." Hana drove home with a whirlwind of emotions. She knew she was treading dangerous waters, but the comfort and attention Brian provided were intoxicating. She craved more, even if it meant risking everything she had with Alex. Over the next few weeks, Hana and Brian's relationship grew more intense. They went on secret dates, shared intimate conversations, and became each other's confidants. Hana felt alive again, rediscovering a part of herself that had been buried under the weight of her loneliness. Despite her growing feelings for Brian, Hana couldn't shake the guilt that gnawed at her conscience. She was still married to Alex, and despite their problems, she didn't want to hurt him. But the emotional void left by Alex's absence was too great to ignore, and she found herself caught between two worlds. One evening, as Hana was getting ready for bed, Alex came home early. He had a rare night off and seemed genuinely happy to see her. "Hey, Hana, how was your day?" Alex asked, his tone softer than usual. Hana looked at him, her heart heavy with conflicting emotions. "It was okay. How about you?" Alex sighed, running a hand through his hair. "It was busy, but I'm glad to be home early for a change." "I missed you." Hana felt a pang of guilt. She had been so wrapped up in her relationship with Brian that she hadn't considered Alex's feelings. She missed him too, but the distance between them felt insurmountable. "I missed you too, Alex," she said softly, trying to mask her inner turmoil. Alex walked over and hugged her, holding her close. For a moment, Hana felt a flicker of the love they once shared. But the guilt and secrets weighed heavily on her heart, and she knew she couldn't keep living this double life. As they lay in bed that night, Hana's mind raced with thoughts of Brian and Alex. She needed to make a decision, but the fear of losing everything paralyzed her. She loved Alex, but she also couldn't deny the emotional connection she had with Brian. Sleep eluded Hana as she lay awake, staring at the ceiling. She knew she couldn't continue living this way, torn between two men and consumed by guilt. She needed to confront her feelings and decide what was best for her and her marriage. Despite her growing relationship with Brian, Hana still held a glimmer of hope that her marriage to Alex could be salvaged. She decided to put her heart and soul into planning a special birthday surprise for Alex. She wanted to remind him of the love they once shared and reignite the spark in their marriage. Hana spent weeks meticulously planning the surprise. She rented a private room at a fancy restaurant, invited their closest friends, and arranged for a live band to perform Alex's favorite songs. She even baked his favorite cake and decorated the venue with elegant decorations. She hoped that this gesture would show Alex how much she cared and bring them closer together. On the evening of December 20th, everything was set. The guests arrived, the band was ready, and the atmosphere was buzzing with excitement. Hana couldn't contain her anticipation as she waited for Alex to arrive. She had arranged for a friend to bring him to the restaurant, keeping the surprise a secret until the last moment. As the clock struck 8 p.m., Hana's heart raced. She checked her phone, expecting a message from Alex's friend. But there was nothing. Minutes turned into an hour, and Hana's excitement turned into worry. She tried calling Alex, but his phone went straight to voicemail. She felt a knot forming in her stomach as she continued to call, each unanswered ring amplifying her anxiety. Hana's friend Daniel, who was also Alex's childhood friend, noticed her distress and came over to offer support. "Hana, don't worry. Maybe he's just running late. You know how unpredictable his work schedule can be," he said, trying to reassure her. Hana nodded, forcing a smile. "I know, but it's his birthday. I thought he'd make an effort to be here." Daniel placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Let's give him a little more time. He'll show up." Another hour passed, and there was still no sign of Alex. The guests began to grow restless, and Hana felt the weight of their questioning gazes. She tried to keep her composure, but the disappointment and embarrassment were overwhelming. Finally, at around 9:30 p.m., Hana decided to call it quits. She stood up and addressed the guests, her voice trembling. "Thank you all for coming tonight. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but it seems Alex won't be able to join us. Please feel free to stay and enjoy the food and drinks." As the guests murmured amongst themselves and began to leave, Hana felt a wave of humiliation wash over her. She had put so much effort into making this night special, only for Alex to not even show up. She wondered if he had forgotten or if something had happened to him. Daniel stayed behind to help Hana clean up. "I'm really sorry, Hana. I know you worked hard on this. Do you want me to try calling him again?" Hana shook her head, tears welling up in her eyes. "No, it's fine. I'll call him when I get home. Thanks for staying, Daniel." Daniel hugged her tightly. "Anytime, Hana. Just remember, you're not alone." Hana drove home in silence, her mind racing with thoughts of Alex. She felt a mix of anger, worry, and sadness. When she finally arrived home, she saw Alex's car parked outside. Her heart pounded as she rushed inside, hoping for an explanation. She found Alex in the living room, sitting on the couch with a distant look on his face. He looked up as she entered, his expression unreadable. "Alex, where were you? I tried calling you so many times," Hana said, her voice shaking. Alex sighed and rubbed his forehead. "I'm sorry, Hana. I got caught up at work and lost track of time." Hana felt a surge of frustration. "You missed your own birthday party, Alex. I planned everything, and everyone was there waiting for you. How could you just forget?" Alex looked at her, his eyes filled with guilt. "I didn't forget, Hana. I was overwhelmed with work, and by the time I realized the time, it was too late. I'm really sorry." Hana's anger began to melt into sadness. "I just wanted to do something special for you, to remind you of what we have. But it feels like you're not even trying anymore." Alex stood up and walked over to her, taking her hands in his. "I know I've been distant, and I'm sorry. I promise I'll make it up to you. Let's not let this ruin everything." Hana nodded, though she felt a lingering sense of doubt. She wanted to believe him, but the pain of his absence and the weight of her own secrets made it hard to trust his words completely. In the days that followed, Alex made an effort to spend more time with Hana. He took her out on dates, showered her with gifts, and tried to rekindle their connection. For a while, things seemed to improve, and Hana allowed herself to hope that their marriage could be saved. But the guilt of her affair with Brian continued to gnaw at her. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was betraying Alex, despite his newfound efforts. She knew she needed to come clean, but the fear of losing everything held her back. One evening, as they were sitting on the couch watching a movie, Hana decided she couldn't keep the secret any longer. She paused the movie and turned to Alex, her heart pounding. "Alex, there's something I need to tell you," she began, her voice trembling. Alex looked at her with concern. "What is it, Hana?" Hana took a deep breath, her hands shaking. "I've been having an affair. For the past 10 weeks, I've been seeing someone else." The color drained from Alex's face as he processed her words. He stood up, his expression a mix of shock and anger. "What? How could you do this to me, Hana?" Hana felt tears streaming down her face. "I'm so sorry, Alex. I was lonely and felt neglected. It doesn't excuse what I did, but I needed to tell you the truth." Alex's anger boiled over, and he grabbed a glass from the table, hurling it against the wall. "You betrayed me, Hana? How could you?" Hana flinched at the sound of the shattering glass. "I'm sorry, Alex. I never meant to hurt you." Alex stormed out of the room, leaving Hana standing there, her heart breaking. She had hoped that telling the truth would bring them closer, but it seemed to have only driven them further apart. In the days that followed, Alex's anger didn't subside. He became more distant, and the tension between them was palpable. Hana felt like she was walking on eggshells, unsure of how to repair the damage she had caused. One afternoon, Alex came home early, his face set in a grim expression. He handed Hana a set of bags and said, "Pack your things and leave. I can't do this anymore." Hana felt a lump in her throat. "Alex, please. We can work through this. I love you." Alex shook his head, his eyes cold. "It's too late, Hana. You made your choice, and now I'm making mine." With a heavy heart, Hana packed her belongings and left the house she had once called home. She moved in with her sister Sarah, who welcomed her with open arms. Sarah listened as Hana poured out her heart, sharing the details of her affair and the subsequent fallout. "I don't know what to do, Sarah. I feel like I've lost everything." Sarah hugged her tightly. "You're not alone, Hana. We'll get through this together." As Hana settled into her new life with Sarah, she couldn't help but reflect on the choices she had made. She knew she had to face the consequences of her actions and find a way to rebuild her life from the ground up. Settling into her new life with Sarah was challenging for Hana. She missed the familiarity of her home with Alex and the routines they had once shared, even if those routines had become strained. But she knew she had to move forward and find a way to rebuild her life. Sarah was a constant source of support, always there to lend a listening ear or offer a comforting hug. She encouraged Hana to take things one step at a time and to focus on finding herself again. "You're stronger than you think, Hana," Sarah said one evening as they sat on the couch, sipping tea. "This is your chance to rediscover who you are and what makes you happy." Hana nodded, grateful for her sister's unwavering support. "I know, Sarah. It's just hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel right now." Sarah smiled and squeezed Hana's hand. "It'll get better. Just give it time." Hana took Sarah's advice to heart. She began looking for a job, determined to regain her independence. With a degree in history, she started applying for positions at local museums and historical societies. After several weeks of searching, she landed a job as a research assistant at a small, but well-respected, historical archive. Her new job provided a sense of purpose and structure that she had been missing. She threw herself into her work, eager to prove herself and make a fresh start. Her colleagues were friendly and welcoming, and she quickly found herself enjoying the work and the new environment. One afternoon, as Hana was sorting through a collection of old letters, she received a message from Brian. Seeing his name on her phone brought a mix of emotions. She hadn't spoken to him since ending their relationship, and part of her felt a pang of guilt for how things had ended. "Hey, Hana, I heard about what happened. I'm really sorry. If you ever want to talk, I'm here." Hana hesitated before responding. She knew that talking to Brian might complicate things, but she also felt a need for closure. "Thanks, Brian. It's been tough, but I'm trying to move forward. I appreciate your offer." Brian replied almost instantly. "I'm glad to hear that. If you ever need a friend, don't hesitate to reach out." Hana put her phone away, deciding to focus on her work. She couldn't deny that she missed the connection she had with Brian, but she also knew that rekindling their relationship could bring more heartache. Over the next few weeks, Hana began to find a new rhythm in her life. She enjoyed her work, spending time with Sarah, and slowly rebuilding her sense of self. She even started attending a yoga class and joined a book club, both of which helped her meet new people and find a sense of community. Despite the progress she was making, Hana couldn't escape the lingering guilt and regret over her affair with Brian and the impact it had on her marriage. She knew she needed to come to terms with her past mistakes in order to truly move forward. One evening, as she and Sarah were having dinner, Hana decided to open up about her feelings. "Sarah, do you ever think about the mistakes you've made and wonder if you'll ever be able to move past them?" Sarah looked at her thoughtfully. "Of course, Hana. Everyone makes mistakes. The important thing is to learn from them and not let them define you." Hana sighed. "I just feel like I ruined everything with Alex. If I had been more patient, maybe things would have turned out differently." Sarah reached across the table and took Hana's hand. "You can't change the past, Hana. But you can learn from it and use those lessons to make better choices in the future. Alex made his own mistakes too. It wasn't all on you." Hana nodded, feeling a sense of relief. "You're right. I need to forgive myself and focus on the future." Sarah smiled. "Exactly. And remember, you have people who care about you and want to see you happy." Hana took Sarah's words to heart. She began to let go of the guilt and started focusing on the positives in her life. She was building a new career, forming new friendships, and rediscovering her passions. One Saturday afternoon, Hana decided to visit a local art exhibit. She had always loved art and found it to be a soothing escape. As she wandered through the gallery, admiring the paintings and sculptures, she felt a sense of peace wash over her. While she was examining a particularly striking piece, she heard a familiar voice behind her. "Hana?" She turned around to see Daniel, Alex's childhood friend, standing there with a surprised look on his face. "Daniel, what a surprise. How have you been?" Daniel smiled warmly. "I've been good. I didn't expect to run into you here. How are you holding up?" Hana nodded. "I'm doing okay. Just taking things one day at a time." Daniel looked at her with genuine concern. "I heard about everything that happened. I'm really sorry, Hana. If you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here." Hana appreciated his kindness. "Thanks, Daniel. That means a lot." They spent the next hour catching up, discussing everything from their favorite art pieces to their respective lives since the fallout of Hana's marriage. Daniel was a good listener, and Hana found herself opening up to him more than she expected. As they were about to part ways, Daniel hesitated for a moment before speaking. "Hana, I know things have been rough, but I want you to know that you're not alone. If you ever need a friend, I'm just a phone call away." Hana smiled, feeling grateful for his support. "Thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate it." Over the next few weeks, Hana and Daniel began to spend more time together. They went to art exhibits, coffee shops, and even took a few hiking trips. Daniel's presence was a comforting reminder that she wasn't alone in her journey to rebuild her life. Despite the new connections and progress she was making, Hana knew she still had unresolved feelings about her past. She needed to find closure with Alex, even if it was just for her own peace of mind. One evening, Hana decided to write Alex a letter. She poured her heart into it, expressing her regret for the affair, her feelings of loneliness and neglect, and her hope that they could both find happiness in their own ways. "Dear Alex, I'm writing this letter because there are things I need to say, and I believe it's important for both of us to find some closure. First and foremost, I want to apologize for my actions. I know that my affair with Brian hurt you deeply, and for that, I am truly sorry. When we got married, I had dreams of a life filled with love, companionship, and mutual support. However, over time, I felt increasingly lonely and neglected. I tried to reach out to you, to communicate my feelings, but it seemed like we were drifting further apart. I was wrong to seek solace elsewhere, and I regret the pain it caused you. I want you to know that despite everything, I never stopped caring for you. Our marriage had its challenges, but it also had moments of joy and love that I will always cherish. I hope that in time, you can remember those moments too. As we move forward with our lives, I hope we can both find the happiness and fulfillment we deserve. I wish you all the best in your career and in your personal life. I believe that we both have the strength to learn from our past and grow into better versions of ourselves. Take care, Alex. Sincerely, Hana." Hana mailed the letter, hoping it would bring some sense of closure. She didn't expect a response, but writing it had helped her process her emotions and start to let go of the past. Days turned into weeks, and Hana continued to focus on her new life. She found joy in her work, built stronger bonds with her new friends, and continued to explore her passions. She even reconnected with some old college friends, joining them for occasional get-togethers and outings. One day, while she was at work, Hana received an unexpected email from Alex. Her heart raced as she opened it, unsure of what to expect. "Dear Hana, thank you for your letter. It took me some time to process everything, but I appreciate your honesty and the effort you put into explaining your feelings. Our marriage had its ups and downs, and I realize now that I wasn't always there for you when you needed me. My job consumed me, and I neglected the emotional aspects of our relationship. For that, I'm sorry. I want you to know that I don't harbor any ill will towards you. We both made mistakes, but I believe we can learn from them and move forward. I hope you find happiness and fulfillment in your new life. Take care, Hana. Sincerely, Alex." Hana felt a wave of relief wash over her as she read Alex's words. The closure she had been seeking was finally within reach. She knew they both had a long way to go in their respective journeys, but she felt a sense of peace knowing that they could part on amicable terms. As Hana continued to build her new life, she held on to the lessons she had learned from her past. She understood the importance of communication, emotional connection, and self-awareness. She was determined to create a future filled with love, support, and genuine happiness. With each passing day, Hana grew stronger and more confident. She had faced her mistakes, found closure, and was ready to embrace whatever the future held. Surrounded by friends, family, and new opportunities, she knew that she had the power to create a life that was truly her own. As the weeks turned into months, Hana found herself settling into a new rhythm. Her job at the historical archive was fulfilling, and she enjoyed the sense of accomplishment it brought. She continued to build her social circle, attending various community events and activities. Despite the progress she was making, there was still a part of her that needed closure with Brian. One sunny afternoon, as she was enjoying a walk in the park, Hana decided it was time to address her lingering feelings. She sat down on a bench and took out her phone, hesitating for a moment before sending Brian a message. "Hi Brian, it's Hana. I hope you're doing well. I've been thinking a lot about everything that happened, and I feel like we need to talk. Can we meet up for coffee sometime?" Brian responded quickly. "Hey Hana, it's good to hear from you. I'd love to meet up and talk. How about this weekend?" They arranged to meet at a cozy cafe downtown, the same one where they had met for coffee months ago. As Hana walked into the cafe, she felt a mix of nervousness and anticipation. She spotted Brian sitting at a table near the window, looking just as charming as she remembered. "Hana, it's great to see you," Brian said, standing up to greet her with a warm smile. "You too, Brian," Hana replied, taking a seat across from him. They ordered their drinks and made small talk for a while, catching up on each other's lives. Hana told Brian about her new job, her move to Sarah's place, and the progress she had been making. Brian shared his own updates, but there was an unspoken tension between them, as both knew the real reason they were there. Finally, Hana took a deep breath and decided to address the elephant in the room. "Brian, I've been thinking a lot about our relationship and what happened between us. I wanted to apologize for the way things ended." Brian nodded, his expression serious. "I appreciate that, Hana. I should have respected your marriage and not gotten involved. I was wrong too." Hana felt a sense of relief hearing Brian's acknowledgement. "Thank you for saying that. I think we both got caught up in a situation that neither of us was fully prepared for. But I also wanted to tell you that despite everything, I don't regret the time we spent together. You were there for me when I needed someone, and I'll always be grateful for that." Brian smiled softly. "I'm glad to hear that. You were important to me too, Hana. But I think it's best if we both move on and focus on our own paths." Hana nodded, feeling a weight lift off her shoulders. "I agree. I needed this closure to truly move forward. I wish you all the best, Brian." They finished their coffee and parted ways on good terms, both feeling a sense of closure and mutual respect. Hana felt a newfound sense of clarity and freedom, knowing she had taken another step towards healing and moving forward. With her past finally addressed, Hana focused on building her future. Her work at the historical archive continued to be a source of joy and fulfillment. She took on new projects, collaborated with colleagues, and even began giving guided tours to visitors. Her confidence grew with each passing day, and she felt more empowered than ever. One evening, as she was preparing for a presentation at the archive, Hana received a call from Daniel. They had become good friends over the past few months, and his support had been invaluable. "Hey, Hana, how's it going?" Daniel asked cheerfully. "Hi, Daniel. It's going well, just preparing for a presentation. How about you?" Hana replied, smiling. "Great to hear. I actually called because I wanted to invite you to an art exhibit this weekend. It's a new collection, and I think you'd really enjoy it." "What do you say?" Daniel asked. Hana's eyes lit up. "That sounds wonderful, Daniel. I'd love to go." They made plans to meet at the gallery on Saturday. Hana felt excited about the outing, looking forward to spending time with Daniel and enjoying some beautiful art. When the weekend arrived, she dressed in a simple yet elegant outfit and headed to the gallery. Daniel was waiting for her at the entrance, his face lighting up as he saw her approach. "Hana, you look fantastic. Ready for some art?" Hana smiled, feeling a flutter of excitement. "Absolutely. Let's go." They spent the afternoon exploring the exhibit, discussing their favorite pieces, and sharing their thoughts on the various artworks. Hana felt a deep sense of connection with Daniel, appreciating his kindness and understanding. After the exhibit, they decided to grab dinner at a nearby restaurant. As they sat down to eat, Daniel looked at Hana with a serious expression. Hana, there's something I've been wanting to tell you, he began, his voice gentle. Hana's heart skipped a beat. What is it, Daniel? Daniel took a deep breath. I've really enjoyed spending time with you these past few months. You've become an important part of my life, and I find myself looking forward to our time together. I think I'm falling for you, Hana. Hana felt a rush of emotions. She had grown fond of Daniel too, but she hadn't allowed herself to fully acknowledge those feelings. Daniel, I don't know what to say. You've been such a good friend to me, and I've come to care about you a lot. Daniel smiled, reaching across the table to take her hand. I don't want to rush you, Hana. I just wanted to be honest about how I feel. We can take things slow and see where they go. Hana squeezed his hand, feeling a sense of warmth and affection. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate your honesty. Let's see where this takes us. As the evening went on, they talked and laughed, feeling a new sense of possibility. Hana realized that she was ready to open her heart again, and Daniel seemed like the perfect person to share that journey with. In the weeks that followed, Hana and Daniel grew closer. They went on more dates, shared intimate conversations, and continued to support each other. Hana felt a sense of happiness and contentment that she hadn't experienced in a long time. One sunny afternoon, as they were strolling through the park, Daniel turned to Hana and said, I have something for you. Hana looked at him curiously. What is it? Daniel reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, beautifully wrapped box. Open it. Hana's heart raced as she carefully unwrapped the box. Inside was a delicate silver necklace with a heart-shaped pendant. She looked at Daniel, her eyes filled with emotion. Daniel, it's beautiful. Thank you, she said, feeling touched by the thoughtful gift. Daniel smiled warmly. I wanted to give you something to remind you of how special you are to me. You deserve all the happiness in the world, Hana. Hana felt tears of joy welling up in her eyes. Thank you, Daniel. You've brought so much joy into my life. I can't tell you how much that means to me. They embraced, feeling a deep sense of connection and love. Hana knew that her journey was far from over, but she felt hopeful and excited about the future. As Hana continued to build her new life, she held on to the lessons she had learned. She understood the importance of communication, emotional connection, and self-awareness. She was determined to create a future filled with love, support, and genuine happiness. Surrounded by friends, family, and new opportunities, Hana knew that she had the power to create a life that was truly her own. And with Daniel by her side, she felt ready to embrace whatever the future held. As Hana's relationship with Daniel blossomed, she found herself embracing new opportunities and experiences. Her life had taken a positive turn, and she was eager to see where this new chapter would lead. With Daniel's encouragement, Hana began to explore her passions and interests more deeply. One day at the historical archive, Hana's supervisor approached her with an exciting opportunity. Hana, we've been selected to collaborate on a major exhibit with the city's largest museum. We'd like you to take the lead on this project. Hana's eyes widened with excitement. Really? That's incredible. I'd love to take on this project. Her supervisor smiled. I thought you might. Your dedication and expertise have been invaluable to us. I have no doubt you'll do an excellent job. Hana threw herself into the project, working closely with the museum staff to curate a comprehensive and engaging exhibit. The theme focused on the city's history, and Hana was determined to make it both informative and captivating. She spent long hours researching, gathering artifacts, and designing the layout. Daniel was her biggest supporter, often stopping by the archive to bring her lunch or simply offer words of encouragement. You're going to knock this out of the park, Hana. I can't wait to see the finished exhibit. As the weeks went by, Hana's hard work began to pay off. The exhibit took shape, and she felt a deep sense of pride in what she had accomplished. The museum's grand opening was approaching, and Hana was both excited and nervous. On the day of the opening, Hana dressed in a stylish yet professional outfit, her heart pounding with anticipation. Daniel accompanied her, offering a reassuring smile. You look amazing, Hana. You're going to do great. They arrived at the museum, which was already bustling with visitors and dignitaries. Hana's colleagues and friends were there to support her, and she felt a surge of confidence as she prepared to give her opening speech. Standing at the podium, Hana took a deep breath and began. Thank you all for being here today. This exhibit is a celebration of our city's rich history and the incredible stories that have shaped it. It has been an honor to work on this project, and I hope you all enjoy exploring the past as much as I have. The audience applauded, and Hana felt a wave of relief and pride. The exhibit was a resounding success, with visitors praising the detailed curation and engaging presentation. Hana's hard work had paid off, and she felt a deep sense of accomplishment. As the evening went on, Hana and Daniel mingled with the guests, enjoying the festivities. At one point, Daniel pulled her aside, his eyes filled with admiration. "Hana, I'm so proud of you. You've done an amazing job." Hana smiled, feeling a rush of warmth. "Thank you, Daniel. I couldn't have done it without your support." They spent the rest of the evening celebrating with friends and colleagues, savoring the success of the exhibit. Hana felt a renewed sense of purpose and excitement for the future, knowing that she was capable of achieving great things. As the months passed, Hana continued to excel in her career, taking on new projects and challenges. She and Daniel grew closer, their relationship deepening with each passing day. They supported each other through the ups and downs, building a strong and loving partnership. One evening, as they were enjoying a quiet dinner at Daniel's apartment, he turned to Hana with a serious expression. "Hana, there's something I've been thinking about a lot lately." Hana looked at him, her heart racing. "What is it, Daniel?" Daniel took her hand, his eyes filled with love. "I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Hana, will you marry me?" Hana felt tears of joy welling up in her eyes. "Yes, Daniel, I will marry you." They embraced, feeling a deep sense of happiness and love. Their engagement was a new beginning, a promise of a future filled with joy and partnership. As they began planning their wedding, Hana couldn't help but reflect on her journey. She had faced heartbreak, made mistakes, and learned valuable lessons. But through it all, she had grown stronger and more resilient. She had found love, purpose, and a renewed sense of self. The wedding day arrived, a beautiful sunny day filled with love and laughter. Surrounded by friends and family, Hana and Daniel exchanged vows, promising to support and cherish each other for the rest of their lives. It was a day of celebration, a testament to their love and the strength they had found in each other. As they danced under the stars, Hana felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had come a long way from the lonely days of her marriage to Alex. She had found happiness, not just in her relationship with Daniel, but in herself. She knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, she was ready to face them with courage and love. After their wedding, Hana and Daniel settled into their new life together. They found a charming apartment in the city, close to both Hana's workplace at the historical archive and Daniel's office. Life was busy but fulfilling, and they relished in the simple joys of married life. Hana continued to excel at her job, gaining recognition for her dedication and expertise. She took on more responsibilities, including mentoring new employees and leading major projects. The success of the museum exhibit had boosted her confidence, and she embraced every new challenge with enthusiasm. One day, Hana received an email from her supervisor, inviting her to apply for a senior position that had recently become available. The position would involve overseeing multiple projects and working closely with the museum's board of directors. Hana was thrilled but also nervous. She discussed the opportunity with Daniel over dinner that evening. "Daniel, I've been invited to apply for a senior position at work. It's a huge opportunity, but I'm not sure if I'm ready for it," she said, her voice filled with uncertainty. Daniel reached across the table and took her hand. "Hana, you've already proven that you're more than capable. You've done amazing work so far, and I have no doubt that you can handle this new role." Hana smiled, feeling reassured by his words. "Thank you, Daniel. Your support means everything to me." With Daniel's encouragement, Hana decided to apply for the position. She spent the next few weeks preparing her application and gathering references from colleagues and mentors. The process was rigorous, but Hana remained focused and determined. Finally, the day of the interview arrived. Hana dressed in her best professional attire and headed to the museum, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. The interview panel consisted of several board members, including the museum's director. Hana took a deep breath and entered the conference room, ready to present her case. She spoke passionately about her work, her vision for the future, and her commitment to preserving the city's history. The panel listened intently, and Hana felt a surge of confidence as she answered their questions. After what felt like hours, the interview concluded. Hana left the room, feeling a sense of accomplishment. She had given it her all, and now all she could do was wait for the decision. A few days later, Hana received a call from her supervisor. Hana, I'm pleased to inform you that you've been selected for the senior position. Congratulations. Hana's heart soared with joy. Thank you so much. I'm honored and excited for this opportunity. As she shared the news with Daniel that evening, he enveloped her in a warm embrace. I knew you could do it, Hana. I'm so proud of you. With her new role, Hana's responsibilities increased, but she thrived under the pressure. She enjoyed the challenges and the opportunity to make a significant impact on the museum's operations. She worked closely with the board, hoping to shape the museum's future and bringing new ideas to life. Despite her busy schedule, Hana made sure to balance her work life with her personal life. She and Daniel continued to nurture their relationship, making time for date nights, weekend getaways, and quiet evenings at home. They supported each other's dreams and celebrated each other's successes. One evening, as they were sitting on the balcony of their apartment, enjoying the sunset, Daniel turned to Hana with a thoughtful expression. Hana, have you ever thought about starting a family? Hana looked at him, her heart filled with love. Yes, I have. I think we'd make great parents. Daniel smiled, his eyes twinkling. I do too. Maybe it's something we should consider in the near future. Hana nodded, feeling a sense of excitement and anticipation. I'd like that, Daniel. I think we're ready for the next step. As they continued to discuss their future, Hana felt a deep sense of contentment. She had come a long way from the lonely days of her past. She had found love, success, and a renewed sense of purpose. She knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, she and Daniel would face them together, hand in hand. Months passed, and Hana and Daniel decided to start trying for a family. The journey was filled with its own set of challenges and joys, but they remained hopeful and supportive of each other. They knew that whatever the outcome, they were in it together. One morning, Hana woke up feeling a little different. She couldn't quite put her finger on it, but something felt off. She decided to take a pregnancy test, her heart pounding with anticipation. As she waited for the results, she held her breath, praying for good news. When the test showed a positive result, Hana felt a rush of emotions. She ran to Daniel, tears of joy streaming down her face. Daniel, we're going to have a baby. Daniel's face lit up with happiness. That's incredible, Hana. I can't believe it. They hugged tightly, both feeling overwhelmed with joy and excitement. The news of their impending parenthood brought a new level of happiness to their lives. They spent the next few months preparing for the arrival of their baby, attending prenatal classes, setting up the nursery, and reading parenting books. As Hana's due date approached, they couldn't contain their excitement. They eagerly awaited the day they would meet their baby and start their new journey as parents. Finally, the day arrived. Hana went into labor, and Daniel rushed her to the hospital. The labor was long and challenging, but Hana remained strong, with Daniel by her side every step of the way. After hours of labor, their baby was born. Hana held her newborn daughter in her arms, feeling an overwhelming sense of love and wonder. She's beautiful, Daniel, she whispered, tears of joy streaming down her face. Daniel looked at their daughter, his eyes filled with awe. She is, Hana. She's perfect. They named their daughter Emma, a symbol of their love and the new beginning they had embarked on together. As they brought Emma home, Hana and Daniel felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Their family was complete, and they were ready to embrace the joys and challenges of parenthood. Hana's journey had come full circle. She had faced heartbreak, made mistakes, and learned valuable lessons. But through it all, she had found love, purpose, and happiness. Surrounded by family and friends, she knew that she had created a life that was truly her own. With Daniel and Emma by her side, Hana felt ready to face whatever the future held. She knew that their journey was just beginning, and she looked forward to the many adventures that lay ahead. Together, they would build a life filled with love, laughter, and endless possibilities. Hana and Daniel's new life as parents brought a whirlwind of joy, challenges, and sleepless nights. Little Emma quickly became the center of their world, and they cherished every moment with her. From her first smile to her first steps, each milestone was a cause for celebration. Hana's work at the historical archive continued to thrive, but she made sure to balance her career with her responsibilities as a mother. She arranged for flexible working hours and took advantage of parental leave, ensuring she could be there for Emma during her early years. Daniel was an incredibly supportive partner, sharing the responsibilities of parenthood equally. He was always there for late-night feedings, diaper changes, and playtime. Together, they formed a strong parenting team, providing Emma with a loving and nurturing environment. One sunny Saturday morning, Hana and Daniel decided to take Emma to the park. It was a beautiful day, and they wanted to enjoy the outdoors as a family. They packed a picnic and headed to the nearby park, excited for a day of fun and relaxation. As they spread out a blanket under a large oak tree, Emma giggled and crawled around, exploring her surroundings. Hana watched her daughter with a smile, feeling a deep sense of contentment. She looked over at Daniel, who was setting up their picnic, and felt grateful for the life they had built together. "Look at her, Daniel. She's so curious about everything," Hana said, her voice filled with wonder. Daniel chuckled. "She's definitely got your adventurous spirit, Hana. I can't wait to see her grow and discover the world." They spent the afternoon playing with Emma, enjoying the warm sunshine and each other's company. As they sat on the blanket, watching Emma toddle around, Hana felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. She had come so far from the lonely, uncertain days of her past. She had found love, built a family, and created a life filled with joy and purpose. That evening, after putting Emma to bed, Hana and Daniel sat on the couch, reflecting on their day. Hana snuggled close to Daniel, feeling his warmth and support. "Today was perfect," Hana said softly. "I can't believe how lucky we are." Daniel kissed the top of her head. "We worked hard to get here, Hana. And we did it together. I'm so proud of us." Hana smiled, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. "Me too, Daniel. We've come a long way, and I wouldn't want to be on this journey with anyone else." As the months passed, Hana and Daniel continued to navigate the joys and challenges of parenthood. They supported each other through sleepless nights, teething troubles, and toddler tantrums. They celebrated Emma's first words, her first steps, and all the little moments in between. Hana's career continued to flourish, and she was eventually promoted to the position of Director of Historical Projects. She was responsible for overseeing all major initiatives at the archive and the museum, a role she embraced with enthusiasm and dedication. One day, Hana was invited to speak at a national conference on historical preservation. It was a prestigious event, and she was honored to be selected as a keynote speaker. As she prepared her speech, she reflected on her journey and the lessons she had learned along the way. When the day of the conference arrived, Hana stood before a large audience, feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. She took a deep breath and began her speech. "Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here today to talk about the importance of preserving our history. Our past shapes our future, and it's our responsibility to ensure that future generations understand and appreciate the stories that have come before them. My own journey has been filled with ups and downs, but through it all, I've learned the importance of resilience, determination, and the support of loved ones. My work in historical preservation has taught me that every story matters, and it's up to us to keep those stories alive. I want to thank my colleagues, mentors, and family for their unwavering support. And to my husband, Daniel, and our daughter, Emma, thank you for being my inspiration and my rock. Together, we can create a future that honors our past and celebrates the incredible diversity of human experience." The audience erupted in applause, and Hana felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. She had come a long way from the lonely, uncertain days of her past. She had found love, built a family, and created a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. After the conference, Hana returned home to Daniel and Emma, feeling grateful for the life they had built together. They spent the evening playing with Emma, laughing and enjoying each other's company. Hana knew that the future was bright, and she looked forward to all the adventures and challenges that lay ahead. As the years went by, Hana and Daniel continued to grow as individuals and as a couple. They supported each other through career advancements, parenting challenges, and personal growth. Their love for each other deepened, and they remained committed to creating a happy and fulfilling life for their family. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Hana turned to Daniel with a smile. "I couldn't have asked for a better partner in this journey. Thank you for always being there for me." Daniel squeezed her hand. "And I couldn't have asked for a better wife. I love you, Hana. Here's to many more years of happiness together." Hana felt a sense of contentment and peace. She had faced her past, learned from her mistakes, and built a life filled with love and purpose. She knew that the journey was far from over, but she was ready to face whatever came next with Daniel and Emma by her side. As the sun set on another beautiful day, Hana looked forward to the future, confident in the strength of her family and the love that bound them together. She had found her way through the challenges of life, and she knew that with resilience, determination, and the support of loved ones, anything was possible. Thank you for joining us on Storytime Audio for Hana's incredible journey of rediscovery. From the depths of loneliness and regret to the heights of love and fulfillment, Hana's story reminds us of the power of resilience, the importance of genuine connections, and the potential for new beginnings. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt tales of transformation and growth. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep listening, keep growing, and remember, every ending is a new beginning.